Molly had shoots to get to, and Dave and Jasmine are out today. But boy, the breaking news about the U.S. gymnastics team, it just came out. The Today Show will be covering it as well. But one of the gymnasts has tested positive for coronavirus. Their identity has not been released just yet at the time we are doing this show, right after the show here. So we don't know it right now, but if you're watching in the future, that probably will come out. But we have a story on this right there in the comment section. If you are watching on Facebook, you can see it in the comment section. It's also on WKYC.com. So we have one of the gymnasts from our U.S. gymnastics team that has tested positive for COVID. Now, in the story that we have here on WKYC.com, and again, as we find out more information, that story will be updated. But I know as soon as Maureen read that story about there's a gymnast that tested positive, everyone was like, oh, we hope it's not Simone Biles. Well, we hope it wasn't anybody, but of course, Simone Biles, she is a big ratings draw, and she's 24 years old, and the Olympics, if it doesn't happen for another few years, she may be too old to compete again. But I mean, she may. But we have learned from the story below in the comment section on Facebook that the gymnast that tested positive is between the ages of 10 and 19. So then that would rule out Simone Biles. So this is what Japanese officials had said. Now that person tested positive at the training facility there in Japan. So the training facility. So because, they gave the age ranges between 10 and 19. Now remember who is on the Olympics team. So let's run through that really quickly. You got Simone Biles at 24 years old. So that rules her out. You have Suni Lee, who's 18 years old. So she falls in that range. You have Jordan Childs, who is 20-year-old. So that will rule her out. You have Grace McCullum. She is, let me see here. I believe she is 18. Grace McCullum. So she is also, yes, she is 18 years old. And then you have Jade Carey also on the team. She is 21 years old. And Michaela Skinner on the team as well, who is 24. So when you look at that age range that they said, so that person who tested positive, the gymnast there on our team, between the ages of 10 and 19, then that will rule out Simone Biles, Jade Carey, Jordan Childs, and Michaela Skinner, because they are all in their 20s. Now, they also have someone who was identified as a close contact. Right now, as we are recording this video and we are on this live recording here, they have not released the age range of that person who is the close contact. So, I mean, Austin, this is just, this is just alerting news pretty much, because we already know the top tennis star as well, Coco, she was ruled out of the Olympics for testing positive for COVID-19. Very heart-wrenching there for her, because she wanted to really represent Team USA. This Olympics is going to be something.
And I think it's just kind of everyone's worst fear is already coming into light right now. And your heart, regardless of what it is, you feel bad for these people, they've been working so many their whole lives, dedicating every single hour of every single day, the sacrifices they have to make. And then literally as they're there and starting in with the game start the 24th, something like that, in just a few days, to be this close, especially after having it postponed for a year because of COVID, and then to get it while you're there. And just heartbreaking for these people, their families, and just the amount of work and effort that's gone into it at this far, your heart breaks for them.
And their families can't even be there because international spectators are banned at the Olympics. So you think about this young lady who tested positive for coronavirus, and as you said, man, they've spent their lives really working for this moment. And then you get this devastating news that you have COVID-19 and you can't participate. And then you don't have your family there to kind of like cry to or, console you there.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, all around, just the fact that being told that you can't play, that, I mean, it's horrible. And we wish them best in their recovery. And but I think most likely what will hurt the most is not being able to compete. So we just hope that they're able to come back in 4 years or 3 years.
Yeah, 3, whenever. And so for those of you who are just joining us in this, we were saying there's the story in the comment section, breaking news that we are covering here. One of the U.S. gymnastics team, so a woman on the U.S. gymnastics team has tested positive for COVID-19, and that gymnast is reportedly between the ages of 10 and 19. I know a lot of people, are like, wait a minute, is it Simone Biles? No, remember, Simone is 24 years old, so that rules her out. However, there is a close contact to that gymnast who tested positive. At the time that we are doing this recording, we don't know the identity of the person who tested positive. This comes again right after Coco tested positive, and she cannot participate in tennis. And so it's just an interesting Olympics, and just to see all of the top players that, not only is like, I have to compete against myself, compete against other people, but then I also have to compete pretty much sort of against COVID-19.
Yeah, makes it difficult.
Yeah. So we will continue to cover this story. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I see a number of you watching this morning, but we do want to also cover a big warning out there, because Holly has been tracking all of the rain that we got last week. I mean, yesterday was the first time we haven't had rain in days, but now all of a sudden there's not a flooding warning, but pretty much a warning out there for people who want to partake in the waters, I would say.
Yeah, it's really just a warning to stay. They're saying stay out of the water, specifically in the Paynesville area with the Grand River there, and it basically rained for like 3 straight weeks. I mean, it was last week was absolutely miserable. It just kept raining and raining and raining. So with all of this, the water, even though it hadn't rained for a day or two, it's still, all of the water is still working its way from the rivers to Lake Erie. So this is really causing high levels of water. And when this happens, there's rushing water and also debris in the water as well. So and this warning comes after Paynesville Fire Department had to make several water rescues in that rushing water over the weekend. So they're just basically saying at this time, stay out of the water, especially if you're not used to the water. So kayaking, of course, swimming, and even just being close to the water, because if you, slip and fall in the water, those rushing waters could take you away with the current as well. And, there's potential for drowning there. So make sure that you're being careful. And so, I mean, just to put it in perspective, the Grand River near Paynesville is sitting at 9.5 feet. Flood stage is at 10 feet. So just a few inches below flood stage, which means, still the waters are rushing there as well. So simply stay out of the water in those specific areas on the east side. And if you've seen over the past week video of Chagrin Falls, I mean, the water is just rushing out of there. So of course, just stay away from it and be careful. Also, going forward, 2 safety measures that officials say whenever you're going to be going in or near water. They say always bring a life jacket, obviously, and then always make sure that this is an important one too. Just and even this goes for hiking, I would say too. Just always make sure that a loved one or someone that knows where you're going to be spending the day, especially if you're going to be spending the day on the water. So if you just go out and don't tell anyone, you don't come back, no one knows where you are. So that's at least a good starting point. So and for more on this, you can head to our website, WKYC. Ryan will probably put the link in the comments as well. But just good things to know. We want to get on the water, and we're kind of itching to get back there, especially after we've had some rough weather over the past few weeks. So, but just make sure that all the safety precautions are being met.
Just give it a few days few days until they say that it is safe. From Holly's forecast, which you can see on WKYC.com, the rain is not supposed to come, at least as of now. But again, the forecast constantly changes, but it's not supposed to come until the weekend. So hopefully You got a couple days that you can stay off for today or tomorrow and see when they say it is safe again. But Austin, I know you're going to love this next story though. As our resident food person,
Yeah.
Swenson's opening a new location in Willoughby. I know you're probably going to check it out. I mean, you've already done multiple stories on Swenson's. Well, give them some free pub again.
It's so funny. I have to apologize to my friends at Swenson's. They actually invited me to like a soft opening of that on Saturday, and I got my tickets. And then my girlfriend was coming home from the airport, and I like completely forgot about it. I went to go pick her up, and I heard the story today. I was like, I completely forgot to go to that. And like, I'm like, oh no, because I was going to get some Swenson's. So I apologize to my friends at Swenson's if you're tuning into this. But Swenson's are popping up all over. This one's in Willoughby, you said?
Willoughby, Sound Center Road and Euclid Avenue. So there, right off of 90, actually.
So I didn't grow up, I'm not from Northeast Ohio, but when I moved here 3.5 years ago, everyone's like, Swenson. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Like, what is it, and I love Swenson's. The Galley Boys are amazing. They have like different, what is it, the poppers,
their French fries are delish. They're
the shakes,
the sauce that they put on the hamburgers. The shakes. You're making me gain weight just talking about it.
I know, right? Just thinking about it. Yeah, I did a Northeast Ohio with them, and they brought me into the kitchen and showed me exactly how to make it. All the steps that they do. And it's really just they have it like down to a science of just how efficient they are. And one of my favorite things. And also like, I didn't know the ordering system when I first got there. So like, I didn't flash my lights or do anything. I just kind of sat there. I'm like, all right, where are these people? And then someone comes like sprinting out to me. I'm like, yo, like, what did I do? So I love Swenson's. There's definitely a learning curve when you go there though. But the first thing you'll learn is they have fantastic burgers.
Yeah, and Debbie Michaels, she is watching us from Willoughby, Ohio. So Debbie, check out that new Swenson's if you need, or if you don't, you can get the French fries. Let us know how they're doing in Willoughby. And we want to thank all of you for joining us for this On The Go post show. And remember, we'll continue to track this story on the U.S. gymnastic women's team, a member testing positive for COVID-19. We'll continue to update you on that story. Have a great day, Austin. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.